Howdy, y'all.
Today we're going to talk to you about how we got our big dog, Lincoln, from the US in Los Angeles to here in France.
In this video, we're going to go over the following: health and vaccine requirements, the doggy passport and vet visit, crate specs that are needed in order to go under the plane, and overall the entire experience, what it was like moving him. This is Lincoln, who traveled at 11 years old. He's currently 11, and we rescued him at the age of 9 from Out of the Cage, a nonprofit that helps dogs get adopted. For a senior dog, he is pretty lively and very fit.
When moving your dog from the US to France, as we did with Lincoln here, there are a couple of things. First of all, there are companies that'll charge you a lot. You don't have to go with them. They offer kind of that white glove concierge service door to door, but in our case, we needed to save some money. So we did it ourselves, and we're gonna tell you how we do that. So what we did was we took a plane from LAX with this big guy all the way to Paris, France, one direct flight. It was about 11 hours or 10 hours, 45 minutes. And from there we took a cab, a big Sprinter van style cab, to the apartment in Paris, and we spent the night there. The great thing is, from Paris, we took a train. The train lines in France, SNCF, allow you to take a big dog, even like Lincoln, as long as they have a muzzle and they're leashed. Lincoln, being the good boy he is, just let the muzzle be on, and we were able to take him from Paris at Montparnasse station, or Gare Montparnasse, down to Bordeaux Saint-Jean. From the Bordeaux Saint-Jean train station, we were able to take a regional train, which also allowed the dog to go with a muzzle and leash, and just had to buy him a ticket. Our friend Fanny, who lives in town, was able to pick us up and bring us to our house.
So for this whole process, in terms of vet appointments, 3 months before departure, I reached out to a USDA certified vet and got his appointment scheduled. Then 1 month before our appointment, I took him to his regular vet and got all of his vaccines updated. That cost me about $400. And then his appointment was 2 weeks before departure. Now, the easy thing about this is once you finish your vet appointment, the vet is going to send the paperwork themselves to the USDA. From there, they're going to send you back the paperwork, which will be embossed and official. That is the only paperwork I had to show when we checked in with TSA to drop Lincoln off. That whole packet was organized by the vet. However, I did bring all of his vaccines and my ownership license of him and his rabies vaccine certificate just in case, but they only looked at the packet the vet gave me.
So one of the things is that with the vaccine, if you don't already have your dog vaccinated or you don't have a record tied to the microchip, you would have to get a new booster of the rabies vaccine that would be tied to the new chip that your dog would get. And that has to be done at least 21 days. So 21 days or longer before. So you plan now, plan early. The EU passport is basically the dog's official travel documents. Your vet fills out all the information tied specifically to the microchip number that you just got or already have. That's an ISO compliant microchip. So it all kind of works together, and that way at the border when you arrive, they're supposed to scan that and have all the information there in the computer. So our vet in Los Angeles is Modern Animal. It's a subscription-based kind of vet where you pay a fee once a year, and then you get unlimited visits, and then you just get charged for like vaccines or medicines. That being said, they're not USDA certified, which is a requirement for the vet to essentially sign off that your dog is meeting the requirements to move to France.
Which is called the endorsement.
And that's what it's called. For the vaccine requirements, specifically for our case coming to France, there was a couple things. You have to have a microchip, which most dogs do these days. Lincoln has a microchip. It has to be a specific kind of standard. We'll put on the screen over here. And that will be able to tell you, who your dog is, who owns it. But the tricky part here is, especially with France and the EU, they want to have the vaccine, the rabies vaccine, administered after the chip so they can essentially tie the rabies vaccine to the chip and when the dog got that. Pretty much they're trying to prevent rabies.
One thing to call out too is that the rabies vaccine must be done within 3 years of departure. So if it's been 3 years since your animal was last vaccinated for rabies, they will need a booster.
When you enter France, you're supposed to scan the microchip and check the passport so everything lines up. To be honest, they did not do any of this when we arrived, and at Charles de Gaulle, we just picked up the dog and left.
Now, we flew Air France, and what you had to do is book a doggy ticket, which was $400 for us, at least 48 hours in advance of departure. Now, I did it like 5 days before we left because I kept dropping the ball on it, which, gave me a little bit of anxiety.
The biggest thing here is most airlines actually don't allow big dogs to go under in cargo anymore. So you have to make sure you pick carefully and find an airline that does. And if they're outside the specs, which Lincoln almost was outside the specs in weight and crate size, then he would have had to go on cargo, which would have been on a different airline or cargo plane.
Small breeds may be allowed in cabin, but you need to check what breeds are allowed. They have to be in a carrier, but there are breeds that are not allowed to fly. So make sure your dog is eligible for travel. The expenses for moving him included the following: the cost of the exam, the healthcare certificate, the USDA certified endorsement, an expedited shipping label, and his plane ticket. The grand total was $833. One thing we definitely recommend is bringing a friend with you to the airport if you're flying to move as well. So since we were flying with all of our baggage and a box, it was super hard to put all the baggage on a trolley and move that to the airport, plus Lincoln on his trolley with his crate. So if you can bring a friend to help you watch your bags, move your bags and stuff while you deal with the dog, we strongly recommend it. That was the most difficult thing, honestly, through the process, was trying to balance that. But if our friend wouldn't have been there, it would have been way more difficult to definitely bring someone that can help. The most stressful part was not actually doing everything, but taking him there, making sure that he was comfortable. We worried about him being under the plane when there was turbulence, and then how long he had to be in the crate. It was about 15 hours from dropping him off and having him inspected by TSA to go under the plane, and then the plane from LAX to Paris, and then it was about another hour before we got him. When we arrived in Paris at the airport, he was over by baggage and we went to get him. No one checked anything, no one asked us for paperwork, and no one confirmed if we were the owner. They just let us open the cage and take him. So that was our experience at Charles de Gaulle. We hope this video was helpful, and if there are any questions that we didn't answer in this video, please leave a comment and we'll get back to you. Again, this was a fairly simple and easy process. You just have to do everything to the T and you'll be fine. We hope if you're moving your dog to France that it goes well and they have a great new life in France like Lincoln does.